distinction that I want to make sure we can draw here. Okay, a right solid, which again is what we will mostly be talking about. Almost everything that I've sketched so far has been a right solid, okay, versus an oblique solid. Okay, here's my visual for a right solid. Okay, if you stack, let's say you take a set of quarters, okay, and you stack this set on top of each other. Okay, so when you're looking at this, let me do one more here real quick. Okay, so let's say you have a stack of quarters right here. Okay. The way that they're arranged right here is they are arranged as a right cylinder. The bases are directly above each other. The centers of the bases are lined up at a perpendicular to one another. Okay, that would be an example of a right solid. Okay, a right means it forms a right angle or it's directly above. Okay, if I were to take that stack of quarters, and hopefully you can imagine that this could be done, but if I take it and I start to, let's see if I can get this to look like it. And so if I kind of push on those quarters so that they start to line up so it's not in a straight line, they're kind of at an angle toward each other. And can you kind of imagine that? So if you just take the stack of quarters and you skew them just slightly. Okay, if that occurs where the center of the top base and the bottom base are not at 90-degree angles with respect to each other, or not perpendicular to each other, you have what's called an oblique solid. In this case, whatever it happens to be, a cylinder. Okay, oblique simply means not right. And not as incorrect. I mean, not right is incorrect, but just it's not a 90 degrees. Not right, not perpendicular, not 90 degrees. Okay, so anytime you have a figure where it's not lined up perfectly balanced over itself, that's called an oblique cylinder. Now, did I introduce this word at all when I talked about triangles? Okay, the term oblique can also apply to triangles. And so this triangle right here, with the right angle, you have a leg, and a hypotenuse. Okay, this is an example of a right triangle. Any triangle that's not a right triangle, so if I wanted to incorporate acute and obtuse triangles all together, then I would refer to oblique triangle. Just means it's not a right. It doesn't have the 90 degrees to it. Okay, so solids are the same thing. As I mentioned, this one will be the huge majority. We'll rarely talk at all about oblique solids. I just want you to understand what the terminology means or what it is. So if you hear that word.